This is Midrash Rabbah Parshat Bo, and it's entitled The Exodus from Egypt, the Reset Button of Creation. So the Midrash is trying to figure out exactly why this unusual pasuk, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chadashim, Rishon Hu Lachem L'Chatzei Hashana. Why is that pasuk interrupting the 10 plagues? Right before the 10th plague, we have this pasuk. And also, it brings up, of course, a question that in the Gemara there's a machlokas. When was the world created? Now that seems unusual. It's not a small event. We don't know which month the world was created, in Tishrei or in Nisan. And here we're telling us you should start counting from Nisan, which implies, okay, that's the first month. So why is there this machlokas? Why is it interrupting the story? And so the answer is, there is a Midrash that gives a mashal, and from there you can extrapolate and understand everything. The mashal is about a king who brings his surveyors and he's looking to build a city. He's looking for some good solid place to build a city with a good foundation. The first two places he comes to is filled with water. Finally he finds a good bedrock, solid rock. Here's what he's going to build. The nimshal is the two floods. Only one flood is recorded in the Torah, Noach, but there was another flood, and in the time of Enosh, and these were two opportunities that the mankind had to have a relationship with God. After all, the whole purpose of creation was for God to have a relationship with mankind, to bestow goodness on mankind, and of course there are expectations. We have to keep the Torah, and that, from keeping the Torah, we will have a life of higher consciousness. This is what God wanted. And it didn't happen. There were two times he had to bring a flood because they were worshiping Avodah Zarah and they could not reach this relationship. They didn't even recognize God. And so how long was it until God could finally reach the purpose of creation? Well, fast forward all the way till now, which according to Chazal is 2,248 years from creation, 34 generations. Finally here we are, about to have the 10th plague, about to be kicked out of Egypt, about to go into the desert, about to get the Torah. That is why we're interrupting the story, because we're trying to declare that this is exactly a reset of creation. And the machlokas about when the world was created is really a machlokas of what is the most important thing about creation. The physical creation that was 2,248 years earlier than Yetziat Mitzrayim, or the spiritual creation, which was now where God is finally fulfilling the purpose of creation. That is what they're arguing about. And that's why you have this machlokas, and that's why this pasuk interrupts this dramatic story right before the 10th plague. I want to add one other item. I have not gone through all of Midrash Rabbah to check this out, but I must say, if you go back to Bereshis, you would assume that the Midrash would spend a lot of time on those first few words, Bereshit bara Elokim, and yet, when I look at how many pages were dedicated to that, versus how many pages where the Midrash is trying to figure out this phrase, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, it's almost twice as long. The Midrash is really grappling with this, and of course part of it is a camouflage question of what right did the Jewish people have to get out of Egypt in the first place. But here is a beautiful answer, one of many, many answers that the Midrash gives as to what this phrase means and why it's here. Have a great Shabbos.